patrons, welcome to another video here. Today we're going to be talking about harmony and reharm, like reharmonizing a melody. And the things that I'm going to talk about today are a little bit more advanced. So, and just some things that work for me. So I hope you enjoy. Just to start off, the one thing that you should really think about with harmony is that context is everything. Timing, the harmonic tension and release are really important. You might have a harmony that might work only if it's played for a split second and it sounds really hip just for a split second. But if it's too long, it might not work in that context. So there's points of tension and release. The one thing that I really like is finding those harmonic points where there's ambiguity, like you don't know what to feel. Sometimes the harmony is really dark and it's really clear that it's dark. Sometimes it's really bright, but sometimes it's like what am I feeling when I hear this? Kind of. So those are always fun to stumble upon. But yeah, points of tension and release. For example, like if you listen to some of Bach's works, at the very end he'll do the Picardy third. He'll play something and then it'll just end on a major after it being all minor. So it's kind of like, wow, okay, it's just like this, almost like a point of relief. After the whole thing. But anyway, so I just wanted to say that just because that's important to consider when you're doing that, when you're using reharmonizing and just exploring different harmonies. So the things that I'm going to be talking about today are really kind of unconventional. So as pianists, we're kind of used to playing the voicings that we've learned over time. And so if you want to really try to explore reharmonizing, you kind of have to get away from that and kind of forget all the voicings that you have learned. So these are unconventional in that sense. So, and these are the things that kind of I've used over the years. So a lot of these chords, if you want to call them that, would be difficult to define because sometimes they're very specific sound, and there would be times when it would be difficult to define them and put them on a lead sheet, on a chord lead sheet, and the symbol, and everything. So just take that into account. So I'm going to dive right in, but one of the things that I like to do is use a certain shape, and it's basically, let's say we're here. It's basically from here up around the fifth. It doesn't have to be a fifth, but around that distance. Basically having that shape there, and then two really close notes up top. I just really like this sound, and then exploring the bass lines that work with and then if you want to change up some things here too, it doesn't have to be a fourth. There's just a lot to explore there with that sound. I really like it, especially if you have a bass line that is kind of moving, and it creates all these different kind of harmonic subtleties. So that's one that I like to use. So I would explore that, from from there to, you know, up a fifth, and then some close notes, 2 close notes up there. So that's one that I'll like to explore. Here's one exercise now for another one that is fun to explore harmony. So basically, you take a chord, and then you take another chord, and you try to overlap them, like so that it's not just chord and chord. It's like chord and then chord is over or under, however you want to think about it. But basically, the notes are kind of, you know, overlapping each other. So, for example, let's just choose, let's just say, and inversions are great too for this. So an E flat, let's say we're E flat chord, but let's do like a first inversion. So let's do that. So now I'm gonna take another chord. So let's just say I do like an F, and we're gonna put it not just up here, but kind of in there, you know, kind of in it. So maybe an F in first inversion. So if you really kind of sit down and just see what it sounds like, you know, to try different ones. So if you're playing like a passage of G minor, you know, that's a really nice sound. Another example maybe like a let's do like a B flat. I like first inversion, like a B flat. And notice I'm kind of spreading it out because that way it gives enough space to put the chord in there, you know, the other chord. So B flat, so maybe first inversion too, so third, the root, the fifth. And then let's just do a C. So maybe not in root, maybe here. That's just one I like. That creates a little bit more of like mystery and mystique. So if I were to take that same concept, yeah, and I use 4 notes in my left hand and maybe just 3 notes in the right hand. Here's maybe one I came up with. Again, you should sit down and really kind of explore this, but here's one. This is like an E flat minor 6. With the B flat and the bass. So basically I've got it really spread out. So B flat, there the G flat, the C. So you got this, that's the first chord. And then the second chord is just an F minor in second inversion. So all of it, you know. So maybe, you know, you're like in B flat minor or something. Or major, I don't know. That's just one combination, but I'm gonna keep exploring. This is kind of a fairly new thing with 4 notes. I had been doing one with 3 notes before, but 4 notes. But yeah, that's when I use. So the overlapping, of course. This other one, I think you guys have seen. It's this shape. I don't know what you would call this. You know, it's like, you know, it's almost like a A flat major 7, but with the 9 here and no third. You know, this one also like with the changing bass. I'm just taking that shape and kind of making. good one. It's just basically a step and a fourth and a third. So that's anyway. That's you get really kind of a modern sound out of that one. So those are some things that I use. Now, notice I'm not using any examples right now because first off, every tune is very different. So you kind of have to pick a tune and just kind of start exploring. Every melody is very different, and if you use if you use some of these voicings and you use the top note of some of these voicings, maybe that's a good way to start. Is use so if you use this shape, maybe if harmonically it sounds okay, and there's a point to use it maybe where the melody is there on the G. This could be a shape that you could use, and then choose a bass line that fits with the harmonic progression, So those are some shapes. The one thing that I really tell a lot of piano players is to really kind of, so this is the next topic, so really study your classical harmony. Like I think jazz cats could really learn a lot from studying harmony from like classical composers. I think if you sit down and you really do some harmonic analysis, sit down and like write the chords of what he's using and how he's using the passing tones, I think that's really important because everybody uses these 12 notes differently. Like I just saw a documentary by of Quincy Jones, and his teacher told him, Quincy, there are only 12 notes, so you need to find out how people use these only 12 notes. There's an unlimited amount of ways that you can use these 12 notes, so you need to study how people have used these 12 notes. So I took that to heart, and I just started doing a little bit of harmonic analysis recently. I have done some, maybe like not too recently, but I had done some on Bach, and how he uses some the passing tones and everything, and I started finding myself using some of that stuff. So I think it's good to really study on the classical composers. That many of the artists today have done that and still do that. Brad Meldau is a big Bach guy. He studied his works and studied them. You can hear it on a lot of his albums. Chick Corea, with Mozart, and the list goes on. Even some of the older cats too. I think they studied some of the classical stuff. And I'm not talking about just the technique, but actually like the harmonic analysis. One that I would suggest would be Scriabin. Like I study his stuff occasionally, and I find myself using just the way he uses harmony. Him and Chopin. So like studying the harmony and then putting my own thing to it. So I think that's a good way to study, and then how passing tones are used. Passing tones, how they're used in that setting. One thing I stumbled upon recently is like a diminished, half diminished chord, like a C sharp half diminished. So like you notice that that chord, if you broke it down into parts, like there's a part where it's like an E minor chord. So I saw like some gospel cats doing this thing where they are about to hit that chord, but what they do is they use these approach tones. So it's like basically we're ending up on this E minor chord that's a part of the C sharp, but getting there, it's basically all minor triads in an inversion. So starting on the C sharp, and you know, it just happens just really quickly, you know. So that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna have to explore that a little bit more. How if you take a chord, take a part of it, and then use passing tones to get to that part of the chord, but eventually play the full chord. You know, I could see like an you know, A7, 13, flat 9. It's got that F sharp chord. So getting to there, you know, like. Sorry, that's right. So this is more just talking about harmony and how you can use passing tones and stuff. So, so that's a lot. This is just the first video, but I will be posting more on harmony and the reharm, and let me know the things that you guys are learning too. You know, there's some other stuff that I will talk about, but I didn't want the video to be too long, because otherwise I can't upload it. It's a lot of space. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what combinations of these things you come up with that are really interesting. And thanks for watching, and have fun. See you guys. Bye.